and I love this country. I'm a Canadian. I love our country. And I think the country that's kind of second closest to my heart is Israel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Shock.
So you're learning
Surprise.
new things about me. Israel, it's been like a second home to me. I've had the privilege of being there 39 different times. And oh my goodness, I've been to the Temple Mount. I've been to Jerusalem hundreds of times without exaggerating. I know you've been there as well.
Twice. I feel kind of lame now.
How many
I've been there
times?
twice.
No, that's amazing. Some people never get to go. Cheryl,
True.
don't put
A lot
yourself
of
down.
people,
You got to go twice.
It is the dream
That's
of their
amazing.
life to get to Israel. I know so many people who tell me that. That is the dream of their life.
Tell me what you thought, like when you got to Jerusalem, and did you go to the iconic spot where you're on the Mount of Olives and you're looking down and you can see the entire old city?
My first view. So I did it on camera. So we were doing a little travel show, and so they were taping me as my first view of Jerusalem, and me being, like, I don't want to cry on TV. So
Yeah.
I had a lump in my throat, but I was really trying to control myself. But I remember that first view, and it was very emotional, and I was thinking about how the Bible entreats us to pray for the peace of that city, and how Jerusalem is like at the center of God's heart, And I couldn't help thinking that this is God's heart, this city, this place, and all the religions of the world are fighting over it.
Yeah,
It's powerful.
as you stand there on the temple, or actually on the Mount of Olives, and you're looking down at the Temple Mount, you can see the double gate, or the beautiful gate, the golden gate, the one where Jesus rode the donkey in through, just days before he was crucified. And you can see the side of the valley where he rode down. And there's the Kidron Valley. There's the tombs of the kings and the prophets. The southern steps to the temple where Jesus would teach, and where Peter, healed that man. And he said, "Gold and silver I have not, but what I have I give to you." And all these amazing things that happen. And I'm looking at this mount, Cheryl, and I'm seeing like thousands of years of history.
Yes.
And now UNESCO have just passed a resolution saying that the Jews have no connection whatsoever to the Temple Mount.
That makes no sense. I mean, I stood on the southern steps. You said they're still there. Those are the steps that led up to the temple, right? I mean, it's historically, is it not historically and archaeologically accurate, even though they haven't been able to excavate the actual temple because of the tensions there, right?
Here it is here. This is a view from the old city of Jerusalem. That's the view I was talking about just a few moments ago when you're standing on the Mount of Olives and you're looking down, and there's the Dome of the Rock. I mean, today it's very Muslim, it's very Islamic, and it's actually controlled.
One of the holy sites, is it not? Like one of the holiest sites of
It's the
Islam?
third holiest site in all of Islam, but it's the first holiest site in Judaism. And actually UNESCO won't even call it the Temple Mount, because that implies that there was a temple there. That implies that the Jews had a presence there. So they call it the Al-Haran al-Sarif, which is the Arabic name. And so there's this, I don't know why this is happening, but there's such a desire to rip and strip this national identity, this heritage of the Jewish people. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said something very powerful. He said, to say that Israel has no link to the Temple Mount is like saying that China has no link to the Great Wall, or that Egypt has no connection to the pyramids. I mean, just something that is so hard to understand. But this is something that's happening in the world today.
And when you see people praying at the Western Wall, that is because that was the wall of the temple. It's the closest they can get to that holy site in prayer, or even the tunnels underneath, right?
Yeah, the Western Wall
pray
tunnels.
there because it's the closest they can get to where the temple is. And they
to the Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant used to be.
Yeah, and they live off these scraps, right? Like, it's kind of like the scraps. They can't rebuild the temple. They can't go on to the Temple Mount because it's controlled by Muslim authorities. So they're living off these scraps, and now they're even told that doesn't even count.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not trying to, to do anything that would be divisive in nature, but we cannot deny the thousands of years of history between the Jewish people and the Temple Mount. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, if you're Catholic, doesn't matter what you are. Everybody has access to go and pray at the wall. But to say there's no connection, that's really shameful.